All right, we just got our first beta done for this cycle, so now we just have to wait a couple hours and see what the results are. We're excited, nervous, all the things, but we're really hopeful, so we'll see. I'll keep you posted and see what happens. Got our Starbucks this morning. We are happy campers. We are those people. So yeah, we'll keep you posted and we'll be back in a few hours to let you know. Hopefully it's good news. We're gonna try to record the actual phone call when they call us this time. Last time we were like in a public place and we didn't get the chance to, so we're gonna try to do that this time and hopefully it's good news, so I'll let you know. All right, so we never ended up filming the phone call yesterday. Again, we were like in the car pulling into the garage. There wasn't really like a time for us to grab the camera and start recording, but we did get the results back of my first beta for IUI cycle number 2, and it was not great news. My HCG levels yesterday were at 6, which I've done a lot of research, and anything 5 and below is negative. Between 6 and 25 is known to be like a gray area, and then 25 and above is like a promising positive. It was a little disheartening to hear that because it just kind of gave me deja vu to last cycle. And now given my IUI coordinator did say like, listen, we don't know when you implanted, so it could still be very early, but the only thing we can really do is monitor it. And so I'm going back tomorrow for another beta to see if it increases at all. I'm hoping it does. But yeah, that's basically where we're at. We're kind of in a limbo stage. And so today I was actually curious to see if my levels increased from yesterday, but obviously I'm not getting tested today. But the only test I had at home is a digital, a first response digital. So essentially where my mindset is at is that I'm preparing myself for either scenario. Like, I'm allowing myself to be hopeful and optimistic, but there's still about 50% of my brain that's like, prepare yourself for the same outcome as last cycle. So this morning I was like, well, I have one test, it's a digital, and my friend and I looked it up, and I guess first response digitals are sensitive for a minimum of 10 on an HCG level. So I was like, well, if I do test positive on a first response, then at least that means my levels increased somewhat from yesterday. So I did take a digital this morning and it did come back positive. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's promising. Like, maybe it was so early that my levels were super low. So yeah, it's crazy because this is my very first digital positive, and it kind of sucks because I feel like I'm not allowing myself to be like too excited about it, because usually when you see a positive digital you're like, oh my god, like I'm pregnant, you know, like I see that all the time online, and it's unfortunate that I feel like I can't do that. But this does give me somewhat hope that maybe my levels are increasing a certain amount. And I also read a study that said that the first response digitals were the only ones that consistently tested 12. So if that's true, then my levels have doubled since yesterday, and hopefully that continues to be the trend. But yeah, we'll see. So I have another beta tomorrow, see what the outcome of that is. I'm a little nervous because from the research I've done online, people with very low HCG levels, especially in early pregnancy, almost always ends in a chemical pregnancy, and not all, but majority. So I feel like that's kind of where my mind is going. And again, I'm not like spiraling, I'm just kind of trying to keep a level head and just have an open mind for either outcome. So yeah, so we'll see what tomorrow has in store for us. Whew. Today is Friday, May 5th. It is now 5:20 p.m. So this morning I had my appointment at 9:30 for my second beta. My first 2 days ago had an HCG level of 6, which is extremely low. But anyways, so today, second beta, I woke up this morning and I was trying to figure out what to expect in terms of levels. And so I told myself I'll just take another test to see if maybe I could just kind of prepare myself for what's to come. And so I took a line test, and there was like the faintest line, like barely there. And I was like, okay. So I took a second digital first response, and that one said no. So in my eyes, my levels had gone down. So that's kind of what I was preparing myself for today. 9:30 rolls around, we go in for my beta, and early this afternoon we got the phone call. My light battery keeps dying, so I just turned around. So I apologize for the bad lighting. So they called us early this afternoon, and my levels came back at 19, which means that they tripled. And so I was super surprised by that, because I had honestly like allowed myself to just kind of be like, okay, like my levels went down again, same scenario as last month, it is what it is, you know. So I was kind of just going in for that blood draw for peace of mind, honestly. So I was super surprised to hear that. And so when I got home, I was like, I'm just gonna take another test just for shits and gigs. So I took another line test, and it lit up pretty quickly. So I don't know if you could see that, but it's definitely way more significant than it was this morning. So it kind of starts to make sense, but they did say that 19 is still pretty low for 4 weeks. So I will be going back in on Monday for another blood draw. And so that'll be 3 days later. And I guess they're supposed to double every 48 to 72 hours, I believe. My IUI coordinator did say just remain cautiously optimistic is the best way we can put it. And I feel like that is sincerely where my heart is at. Like, I'm hopeful, but I'm also being really cautious with my emotions and not getting too invested because of what happened last cycle. So yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of film another update on Monday and let you guys know where we're at. As of right now, we feel good. I feel good. I honestly barely have any symptoms. Like, I have intermittent cramping. So yeah, we'll check back in on Monday and let you know where we're at. But until then, we're just remaining cautiously optimistic. And if you guys want to follow along our journey, consider subscribing, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.